If you want to rob a bank, you usually need a gun. But in 2005, a group of men in Brazil realized that guns are loud, and guns get you caught. They didn't want to break the door down. They didn't want to crack the safe. They decided to do something that physics said was impossible. They rented a house 2 blocks away from the bank. They set up a fake business selling synthetic grass, and while the city walked above them, they started digging. They weren't robbers, they were engineers, and they made it there. They stole 70 million cash and got away with it. This is case 003 of Detective Stickman. To understand why this heist is a masterpiece, you have to respect the target. The vault in Fortaleza was designed to be impenetrable. The walls were made of steel-reinforced concrete over 1 meter thick. That is 3.5 feet of solid rock and metal. You could drive a tank into that wall and it wouldn't crumble. But the concrete was just the shell. Inside, the room was alive. Motion sensors scanned the air. Weight sensors lined the floor. If you took a single step inside, the floor itself would feel you. And staring down from every corner were CCTV cameras fed directly to a security station, manned 24 hours a day. The gang knew they couldn't use explosives. The bank had seismic sensors buried in the foundation. Any vibration from a blast or even a heavy jackhammer would trigger a silent alarm instantly. The police would be there in 2 minutes. The bank was confident. The vault was a fortress. But every fortress has a weakness. Most criminals are broke. This gang was different. They had investors. Police believe the operation was funded by major organized crime syndicates. They pooled together nearly $200,000 just for the setup costs. They needed a cover story that would let them move tons of dirt without anyone asking questions. 3 months before the robbery, a new business opened exactly 2 blocks from the bank. Grama Sintética, a company selling artificial turf. It was a stroke of genius. Landscaping companies are messy. They have trucks coming and going. They have piles of dirt in the driveway. They have men in dirty overalls. They played the part perfectly. They printed business cards. They made branded t-shirts. They even sold grass to people in the neighborhood. The neighbors saw them hauling heavy bags of soil out to their trucks every day. They smiled and waved. They didn't realize they were watching the bank vault being emptied 1 bag of dirt at a time. While the salesmen worked upstairs, the moles worked downstairs. They cut through the concrete floor of the shop and began to dig. This wasn't a crude hole, it was an engineering marvel. Most tunnels collapse because of soft soil, so these men lined the entire shaft with wooden beams, square frames, floor to ceiling, every single meter. It was built to last. Fortaleza is hot. Underground, it is an oven. But the gang had thought of that too. They ran an industrial air conditioning duct from the shop's main unit all the way down into the tunnel. They wired an electric lighting system. They weren't suffering in the dark. They were digging in climate-controlled comfort. The physical labor was hard, but the math was harder. They were digging blind, 4 meters underground for the length of a football field. They had to navigate around city sewage pipes and electric grids. If they drifted just 1 degree to the left, they would hit a sewage main and drown. 1 degree to the right and they would miss the vault entirely. They had to hit a specific 10-foot square target from 80 meters away. August 6th, Saturday. After 3 months of digging, the tunnel was finished. The bank closed its doors for the weekend. The employees went home. Beneath their feet, the mole people were waiting. They reached the underside of the vault floor. Now they faced the 1.1 meters of steel-reinforced concrete. They didn't use jackhammers. They used diamond-tipped drills and saws. They worked slowly, patiently, grinding away the concrete millimeter by millimeter for hours. No impact, no vibration, just a steady hum. Sometime on Saturday night, they broke through. A hole 60 centimeters wide opened into the vault. They were inside. The sensors didn't trigger because they didn't open the door. They didn't touch the walls. They were standing in a sea of cash. They ignored the new traceable bills. They went straight for the used, unmarked notes. But then they ran into a problem they hadn't planned for. Money is heavy. They took 160 million reais, roughly 70 million US dollars. The total weight of the cash was 3.5 tons. That is the weight of 2 cars. The robbery became a moving job. For hours, they dragged cart after cart through the 80-meter tunnel, sweating, heaving, hauling the fortune back to the fake grass shop. They loaded the vans, they dusted the shop for fingerprints, and by Sunday evening, they drove away. The vault was empty, and the alarm had never made a sound. Monday morning, 8 a.m., the bank opened. The discovery was absolute chaos. It was the biggest peacetime heist in history. The police found the tunnel, they found the lights, they found the fake shop, but the men were ghosts. But you cannot spend $70 million quietly. The engineering was perfect, the getaway was sloppy. Days later, a foot soldier from the gang bought 10 transport trucks at a dealership using cash. The cash was still bundled in the central bank's wrappers. The police got their first lead. Over the years, dozens were arrested. The money brought kidnappings and betrayal. But the architect, the genius who designed the tunnel, he was never officially identified. He proved that with enough patience, you don't need a gun to rob a bank. You just need a shovel. This is Case 003.